So we're here to solve this balanced loop variation by Murat Can Tonta. It's a variation that actually highlights a kind of style that's in the book that Murat and Prasanna just finished, also called Balanced Loop, which has a whole set of classic puzzles, but also some variations. And so I've just recently finished testing that book and have played a lot of all cells puzzles. And the all cells constraint certainly means we visit things like these corner cells, and it will mean as we really build out this grid that we can get situations where some of the forced quick turns themselves are going to lead to some elimination. So one of the things in both of these corners is upper left and lower right is probably how the turning to full all cells is going to cause some pretty quick eliminations. And so I'm particularly looking at a cell like this in terms of how we fill it in. And in the case where we come, on this white one more across and end up getting a case where we come in here, we're going to have to turn like so to fill this space in, and that looks like a valid loop, except it's not a valid black circle. The black circle is a one leg and it's no good. So to get to this space, we've got to come straight down to fill in that cell. I'll take off the color just to have this be a little easier. And this black then has to take a longer leg, which comes down at least 2. And this can keep going. It could be all the way to here, or it could immediately turn. So we'll have to figure that out, but for sure we can mark this for start up in that space. And let's just see if the same kinds of considerations would have played out in general down here on the other corner. And again, about a cell like this. And the more constraining way this goes, I think, is where we come up, because black is going to have a longer leg. And notice that white, which is taking one leg on one side, gets one more before it hits an edge and has to turn. And we'd actually close the loop in this case. And so here, black can't come up. It must come to the left and must keep taking at least 2 cells. We still don't actually know for sure if white comes here or here, but we have a little bit of the start of the shape in this grid of how that corner is going to go. And so I have a feeling that a lot of the solve here is going to keep going like this. I'm just going to make sure surface and composite are on, because I'm going to use a little bit of coloring when I come through, I think, to get some of the things I want to show into the grid. So let's come back to this corner, and where this was a white circle with a one leg, we get this immediate turn. This corner cell has to be used by the loop, so we get this turn, which does indeed give us this first form where the loop comes all the way down for this balanced white circle. Got a corner cell here, so we're going to come in and take it. It's got one leg in, so it's not going to come up. It needs a longer leg, but it's not going to be these 2, so it's going to be at least these 2. This is going to corner and corner again, fill in the space. This white circle has to immediately turn, which is going to give another corner we've got to deal with, and this black needs to have a longer leg, and that longer leg is at least 2, so it couldn't be to the right, it's got to be down. So we fill in this. We then have a situation where this could be 3 more long, or could turn over here, but we know it doesn't come to the left, and that means that these edges have to come out. We get this white circle touched, which is going to do this. We have to keep coming here. We now know for sure this comes to the right. This comes here. We don't want to close the loop, so it's going to keep coming to the right. These edges come across 2 with 1. That still looks okay. This has to turn. If this line extended here, we'd have 2 plus 2, which is not a valid black circle, so this comes down. We get another corner. Got to fill in, because we're using all the cells in this puzzle. Got another corner. Just got to come in and fill. This has 1 and 1, so this has to take at least 1 more cell. That still looks valid. All these black circles are imbalanced. That looks fine. Got this corner. We're just filling in the loop bits. This is a white circle that's got 1 edge, so it could come here or here. Those both actually look okay, but one limitation is that in this corner we can put in this edge, but this white circle has to take 3 more, so it must come over to the right. This black needs to take 2 or more in its next leg because it's larger than 1. It can't come down because that would make the white imbalanced, so it comes across. We've got a corner, This white can't come to the left, would be imbalanced, so it comes up, but immediately turns. Got this. We've got this black filled for the corner. That looks fine. Loop keeps coming. These ends don't want to touch, so it's going to come through. Got this space up here. Because of this edge we've marked, and actually this edge down here, this white is now also an example of a clue in a corner. So we'll just mark that through. There actually looks to be a fair amount of tension with this circle right now, and that's because there's a way that in extending these edges, we make another corner. And so one way this goes is like this. The other way is where we immediately come up, and that is then going to force this to potentially have to turn. And notice that this black circle has 4 and has 4. And so with that tension point, you can't come here because the black's imbalanced, and you can't come here because you close the loop. And so seeing that the cornering around these two whites was a point of tension, we looked at both of those choices and saw that for sure we need to take the 2. Got the 1 that comes through, these come across. This white circle can't join to there, it'd be imbalanced, so we do this. We've got to finish using all the cells, and we finish this fun puzzle from Murat. Hopefully you got a sense of how to combine the all-cell constraint with balance loop styles, that this puzzle had no numbers to start, was fully anti-symmetric, led to the pretty challenging solve we had, where we really had to think through the corners, a little bit of the roughing of how you would have one but not both options, given one of the cells has to turn, of how that goes. And with that, we got through a bit of the grid, got some connectivity, and then in the end, the last sort of spaces for these two white circles to work together was a key final constraint. So I hope you learn a little bit something about the solve, and we'll see you soon.